So, I mean, if they got another clean sweep, they would go right to the top of the table. But poor old Team Fordzilla not racing this week. Aston Martin have already been. But Red Bull have got it all to do. They lost last week, but now they can say, hey, don't muck around. We're Red Bull and we're still in this. But it's going to have be a monumental task for them because you are going against these three drivers here, which is slightly different because I can tell you now, guys, I'm going to say Joni Tomala, he's all the way in Finland, but he is not Cedric Tomé. That is the wrong picture there, but we'll update that in a second. Joni Tomala, maybe he said, look, we've talked enough about facial hair. We do not need to see any more facial hair.
That's just how he looks without the moustache.
No, he is not. He is not Cedric Tomé. But that was the Red Bull guys there, two of them. Getting lined up, ready for this. And would you feel they have a bit of pressure? Is there nothing to lose? We said they were the underdogs going into this race, but where's their heads going to be at in this race?
I mean, there's plenty to lose. There's always stuff on the line. You want to do as best as you can for every round that there is. Every time you race, you want to do the absolute best you can. And I think Red Bull as a team is always a strong team. They are able to bounce back. They've got good bounce back ability. I think that's a made up word. But no, they're a great team. And I think that they could definitely take the fight to Mercedes, which is collectively deemed the stronger team out of the two here.
Yeah, Cedric Tomé, official photo of his face, live feed, and his name. But the guy to the right there is Bono Huis, he's had mixed results in the F1 Esports. Not quite delivered, I'm sure, as much as he wanted to, but he was incredibly dominant last week. And in the team relay, one of the drivers of the three has to do 2 laps. We call that the Joker lap. Every time he stepped up and he delivered.
I feel like F1 game has never really been one that suited Bono. I feel like he's always been a lot better in a game that's more like a simulation, and we're getting that here with Assetto Corsa, and when he jumps onto iRacing as well, I think he's always one of the best. So this definitely suits him a lot better than F1 Esports, and we're seeing it here. I mean, you know, to have him and Jana Wattmir in the same team together with Cedric Tomé is just a force to reckon with.
Normally he helps out with the Mercedes team in talking about Danny Moreno, Jana Wattmir and Mercedes in the F1 Esports, and I know that firsthand. He was very much part of the setups. Now, in terms of this three team, does someone have to take a leadership role of what the strategy is going to be? And you love a strategy, Steph.
I do.
Does one of them have to call the shots, maybe?
I mean, what we've talked about throughout all of these matches is who we deem to be the team leader, because of the three, it always seems like there's someone who's emerging that's kind of pushing the team forward. And I think you'll know a lot bit more about this, about how setups work as esports driver within a team, so maybe you could shed some light on...
Because the only reason I asked, Steph, and Hayley, is because you've got the picks and bans, which is unique to the V10 R League. So someone has to call the shots on, like, we're going to ban this one. And we can see right now what's been banned, and that is Yas Marina from Red Bull, but they take Silverstone. So that is going to be a very exciting circuit to get to. And then Mercedes have gone for Spa-Francorchamps. What do we make of the tactics of picking and banning, Hayley?
Well, it's weird that Red Bull have gone for Silverstone after what happened in F1 in 2021 there, and of course Mercedes don't want to go to Monza after what happened there in F1, so clearly something in the back of their minds there. But we've seen Silverstone, Spa looking like the tracks that the teams want to do, because you know they're great circuits and there's less likely a chance for mistakes there. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting choice again to go with these two tracks. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, interesting enough, it was banned from them this time. That's because Red Bull raced at Monza last time, so maybe Mercedes are thinking, hey, we need to make sure that you are not practice well on this one. Listen, lots to talk about, lots to get into. We are going to have a little short break, but when we return, we will be heading to Silverstone for this juicy encounter between Red Bull and Mercedes. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back. So great to have you with us for the V10 Art League. We are just moments away from our opening relay race as Red Bull take on Mercedes, and we are travelling all the way to Silverstone. I had a little look. Nearest train station is Wolverton, so that's if we were going to get the train there. That's just anyway. It's just a little fact for you guys. What do you love about Silverstone, Steph?
Oh, it's it's the home of British racing, isn't it? It's an absolutely fantastic circuit, some iconic corners, as is Spa, which we're going to get to a little bit later on. But yeah, it's just fantastic. Everybody loves racing there. The drivers very clearly love racing there, as this team has elected to go there. So it's going to be a fantastic race, I think.
Okay, fantastic race is what Steph's hoping for. I think it is going to be as well. In terms of overtaking in this relay race, where can they maximise that?
So your best opportunity is probably either down the end of the Wellington Straight into Brooklands or down the Hangar Straight into Stowe. And if you're daring enough and if you can follow through the chicane of turn 1 and 2, you can potentially go for a move into turn 3 as well.
Yeah, earlier on, we put the wrong picture up for Cedric Tomé when it said it was Joni Tormala, but it was Cedric Tomé, not Joni Tormala. They're going head-to-head in this one. Those were the names that are popping up on the screen. You would have seen, so we got a car stop taking on one of the other team. Over to you then, Hayden. I'm looking forward to this one.
Here we go. Lights are on, engines roaring, and we go racing. And Mercedes get off to a fantastic start. Liam Parnell is going to be falling behind, and he's going to have to be the hunter on this opening lap. We'll wait and see which one of these drivers are going to be taking the Joker, but it's Liam Parnell versus Jarno Opmeer. And it's nice to see that Jarno Opmeer this week has made his bed in the background as well, as he leads the way currently on the first lap down in towards the Wellington Straight, weaving all over the place to try and break that slipstream, but Parnell just not close enough.
I know, it was an absolutely perfect start there from Jarno Opmeer. Straight off into the distance. I don't think it was the optimal start at all for Liam Parnell. He could definitely have been a little bit quicker off of the line, and I think he's suffering as a result of that. The gap all the way at 7 to 8 tenths of a second behind Jarno Opmeer. Not what you wanted to start this race.
Definitely not, but there is a lot of time to be made up over the rest of this relay race. We've got the team changes, remember, and also the Joker lap 2, so potential there for Red Bull to get themselves back in it. But Jarno Opmeer looking great at the moment in the bottom right-hand corner of your screens. 1 second is the gap between the two drivers. Coming round the final corner before you come into the pits here, so we're going to be seeing who's going to be taking that Joker lap, and Jarno comes into the pits. So no Joker for Jarno and no Joker for Liam Parnell as well. So both drivers into the pits. An interesting opening stint. Mercedes looked like they just got the better off the start, with Parnell chasing and just losing a little bit of time. But now we're going into the team changes, and we're going to be awaiting to see who's going to be jumping into the car next. And it's going to be some interesting racing, hopefully. Hopefully they can get out of the pit lane in very similar fashion to each other.
Absolutely, and we've seen a couple of issues in the relay races today of teams having problems, being in the pits for too long, timing issues, and hopefully we don't get any of that, because these two drivers were pretty close to get together when coming into the pits, and it will be nice to see the battle continue as they exit and going on to the next few laps of the relay.
Yep, only 1 second was separated them. We've got Cedric Tomé versus Joni Tormala for the next battle. Remember, no Joker taken so far between the two teams. We've got 3 laps left to go in this team relay race, and we're just going to be waiting for them to come out of the pit lane. You're going to expect to see the Mercedes team go out of the pits first, as the Red Bull reversing, just to get themselves a little bit more of a run-up, and look at them, both released at the same time. And the gap is going to be very similar to what it was before between Mercedes and Red Bull. But the gap now still currently 1.1 seconds. Cedric Tomé leading the way. Joni Tormala is going to be hunting him down. Another moustache sported for this series. It's Joni Tormala in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, with Cedric Tomé in the bottom right. And the gap still remaining at 1 second for the time being. So looking like Joni Tormala just pulling it back a little bit at the moment as they head down in towards Brooklands and then Luffield. Now the gap going just slightly there, under 1 second, showing that maybe Red Bull are coming back into this.
Absolutely. And one thing about Joni Tormala is he does have incredible one-lap pace. So he could definitely be the one that they elect to do the Joker. Cedric Tomé, who knows? Again, we've been talking about how Bono has been extremely dominant as we're riding on board with Joni Tormala right now through Maggott and Beckett. As you can see, the gap is not really closing up. They're still quite a ways away from Cedric Tomé ahead of him, but we're nearly at the end of the lap, and we'll be able to see who's going to take that joker, whether they'll both go into the pits, and see how the strategy turns out for both of these teams.
Who is the joker? Reveal yourself. It's going to be Joni Tomala, as he is staying out for a second lap. Cedric Tomé coming into the pits. Bono Hoos is going to be doing the joker for the Mercedes team, as now Joni Tomala will be taking the lead so far. So now it's going to be up to the Flying Finn to try and make sure that he puts in the best lap that he possibly can to make sure that the Red Bull team come out ahead of Mercedes. So heading down into the loop now, you want to be nice and tight, but not onto that sausage curb on the inside to get the maximum out of this Wellington straight as you head down in towards Brooklands. The Mercedes drivers will be switching over. We'll be seeing Bono Huis coming into, getting into the car very shortly, and he will be underway. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of lap times he can put in. Of course, he's got to do 2 laps now, and Joni Tomala looking pretty solid.
Yes, well, clearly Mercedes are carrying on that dominant streak that Bono has been exhibiting. He's going to be the one that is doing the joker lap for Mercedes. Not really a joker anymore. I mean, we know that he's going to be doing it, so they can't pull a blind one on anyone now. So it's just up to Joni Tomala to try and close that gap up, and he's making a very, very clean lap so far. You know, the Flying Finn, the mustache menace, as we can see that Bono is exiting the pit. So what's going to be really interesting actually is his final couple of corners as Joni Tomala swaps over to the final Red Bull driver, and whether we'll be able to see at the pit exit, and we'll be able to see down the start-finish straight where Bono is. So that's going to be very exciting in a couple of moments' time.
Moustache menace. Are we sticking that with Joni Tomala, or do we want to give that to Kevin Siggy? Who's a bit more of the moustache menace?
Oh, maybe we'll ask Tom in a little bit. He seems to be the expert.
We'll hold the nickname for now. Bono, who is currently doing a great job in the Mercedes car. Remember, he's going to be doing the joker lap, so he's got to do another lap when he comes back round. But Joni Tomala out of the car, and he's going to be switching over to Yuri Kasdorp. So we're going to be interesting to see what he can bring to this team relay race. But Bono doing a fantastic job at the moment, navigating through Maggots and Beckett's, coming down onto the hangar straight and then heading into Stowe. And of course, remember, he's not going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap. He's going to be going for the final lap, and be interesting to see where they are going to come out in the pit stop phase. Yuri is in the car, but is he going to be exiting the pit lane ahead of the Mercedes driver? Bono now through the final corner, foot all the way to the floor, up until turn 3 now. There is the Red Bull exiting the pit lane. Oh, it's going to be close, but Mercedes gets out in front of the Red Bull team and are going to be leading this final lap. Oh, that was close there, Steph.
It was very close. I mean, Yuri Kasdorp did everything he could possibly do, exiting the pits right on time, and the minimum time possible, but it just wasn't enough to get out ahead of them. But as you can see, that gap has really narrowed down. Over a second it was a couple of laps ago, and just 0.6 of a second now, as you can see from the front wing of that Red Bull car. The Mercedes in front is not too far away, but it's whether they can catch him within half a lap.
Yeah, not long left to go now in this team relay race. If Yuri wants to get the job done, it has to be now. One big overtaking opportunity left to go. The gap now down to 0.5 of a second as they navigate their way through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time in this team relay race into the slipstream of the Mercedes driver of Bono Hoos, and they're going to be going down in towards Stowe now. Bono leading the way through Stowe, no mistake from the Dutchman, and he is going to be holding it for the time being. In towards Club and Vale, then late on the brakes goes Yuri, maybe a little bit too late. The gap coming down there. It was close, but not close enough. Mercedes are going to take victory here in the team relay for round 1, but it wasn't an easy one.
Not at all. Not an easy race there. Karsdorp just coming out of the pit lane, just behind Bono Huis. And another tactical masterclass from the Mercedes team there. Mercedes AMG-Petronas Esports. It was the same from round 1. Bono Huis being the joker. As you can see there, Cedric Tomé discussing tactics with the team. But listen, provisional result there. 1-0 to Mercedes. we've still got the team race to go at Silverstone against Red Bull. And Red Bull, they might be kicking themselves a little bit. Might they change up tactics? Had a little bit of everything there, Hayden, I feel. But Red Bull, they were very much still in it.
Yeah, they definitely were. I mean, they'd be disappointed not to get the victory here, but they shouldn't be too harsh on themselves because they did take the fight to Mercedes at the end of the day. Really close racing. I think probably the closest team relay that we've had so far in the day. So very exciting to see and sets us up for the next 3 races, and I am buzzing for them.
Yeah, and it's followed the same form as well. Jarno Opmis starts. Then it gets thrown to Cedric Tome, and then Bono Huis has the Joker lap. And that tactic seems to work for them because they seem to be so good, whereas other teams mix it up a little bit. But would that make Red Bull try something different, not start Liam Parnell to begin with?
I mean, you could potentially call the bluff, you know, going into the next relay race. You've seen what the tactic is. You've seen what Mercedes like to do. Try and play that to your advantage, and that's what the team will be trying to talk about, trying to work out whether they can change something up to gain that advantage.
Yeah, we're just watching back here. Carl's still doing the best he can. Oh, by the way, can we also discuss, please, Hayden? You have a Dutch partner who has, she's pointed out that we are pronouncing Bono Huis. Now, for the years that I've been doing F1 Esports, I've been saying Bono Huis because it just sounds fun. But Bono Huis?
Hoos, I've been told. I've been corrected. This is where she's going to come back at me and tell me I'm still wrong. But that's what we're going with for now. We put an English spin on it, or we can just go with Huis, whichever one we want.
Listen, Bono Huis, or Bono Huis, had a dominant showing in round 1, and again in the relay race for Silverstone, very dominant there. But it goes out the window. Everything you've just learnt about your opposition, when it comes down to the team race, get the best quality time you can, then you'll start on the grid, and then at this point, elbows out, just go for it. Looking forward to the team race at Silverstone?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we've seen some really close team races thus far in the V10 League in 2022, and I think this one's going to be no different. It's going to be a very, very exciting one. As you see, as we saw in the relay race, both teams are very, very close together. There may be contact, as you like to predict, for every single race, but we'll see.
OK, I'm taking that on board. Something to learn there. Hayden, we'll come back to you after this short break. So the first point goes to Mercedes. Next up is the team race around Silverstone. See you in a second. welcome back to this V10 League match between Red Bull Sim Racing and Team Mercedes. Now it's time for our first team race between these two teams. Now the team race works a little bit differently. The 6 drivers are out on the track and it's about which team gets the most amount of points. If you finish first, you get 10 points. Finish second, you get 6 points. Finish third, you get 4 points. And then it goes 3, 2, 1. Very simply, as we've worked out today, my guests, Steph and Hayden, is that if you finish top, if you finish first, it means your team, the least you can get is a draw. So the best result, you can get a win. So that means finish first, and you're not giving your team that advantage by getting that 1 match point, are you?
No, I mean, you need to be backed up by your team at the end of the day. That's why this is a team competition. You need to, if you're in the lead and you're winning, you need your team to at least be one of them in P4.
Yeah.
And then that's how you're going to get the point.
Okay, well, that makes it just a little bit more of elbows out, just going for it, sending it. Let's look at the grid to start with, because this really does help out the teams. And wow, there it is. You can see dominance from Mercedes, Otmar, Hughes, Tomei, and then you have Parnell, Karsdorp, and Tomola. So really, at this point, if you are Red Bull, you are going to have to send it to make sure you at least get that draw, if you can't overtake Otmar. And that's, we haven't seen that happen today. A driver in 4th position take the lead.
No, we have not. And it looks like a mistake there for the Red Bull team, because both of the ones in 5th and 6th really far off the order. But here we go, lights on, engines roaring, and we go racing here in Silverstone. Mercedes versus Red Bull. And it is Mercedes leading the way as they go down in towards turn 1. But the Red Bull driver, nip and tuck, right behind the Mercedes 3rd car there. Maybe having a look right around the outside into turn 3. Liam Parnell up the inside into the loop. It looks like he's going to get the job done, and he has. Moved up into 3rd place, but Cedric Tomei coming back at him around the outside of the loop, heading down now into the Wellington straight. He's going to get the slipstream from his teammate ahead, Bono Hoos, as we've got Liam Parnell up the inside into Brooklands. Can he make it stick? Now round the outside into Luffield. Lovely racing between the 2 drivers going wheel to wheel, but Cedric Tomei comes out on top.
Oh, and Liam Parnell just losing out a little bit there, and he's also going to lose out to his teammate, Joni Tomola, who's already up from P6. What a fantastic, when he goes a little bit wide there, but Liam Parnell losing 2 places in the space of around about 2-3 corners.
Oh, and he's lost even more there as he's lost the back end into Maggots and Beckett's. Around he goes, and that is him pretty much out of this team race, unfortunately. So looking like Mercedes now gonna have the upper hand, as we're gonna get a replay to see what went on. So let's have a look on board now with Liam Parnell heading down into the Maggots and Beckett section. He's on the curb, takes too much curb on the inside of the right-hander, unsettles the car, and off he goes into the barrier. So Jarno Opmeer leading the way at the moment from his teammate Bono, with Cedric in 3rd position, Joni Tomola in 4th, and Yuri Kastorp in P5. But it's very close still between those 5 drivers at least.
Yes, and as you've pointed out in the lead up to this race, there are plenty of overtaking opportunities around Silverstone. Joni Tomola seems to have the pace. He's up already, helped a little bit by the teammate incident of Liam Parnell, but he's getting ever closer to Cedric Tomei ahead of him. Like I said, Joni Tomola is a very, very fast driver, so he's just staying on the back, as we can see. It's a lovely angle here, just by the front wheel, as you can see him closing up and edging away a little bit from Cedric Tomei ahead, so he'll be looking to make a move as he goes a little bit wide again.
Yeah, noticing that from a few drivers, using all of the track and then some in towards Copse Corner. Well, at least if that's the only controversy we see in today's race, that we've got through pretty unscathed with Red Bull versus Mercedes here. But Joni Tomola hunting down the Mercedes of Cedric Tomei. He got the gap down to about 0.2 of a second. It's been extended now to about ½ a second at the moment. But Yuri Kastorp is no slouch as well. He is right on the back of his teammate Joni Tomola, ready for, if Joni can overtake Cedric Tomei, then maybe Yuri can get his way in there as well. But looks like Cedric Tomei has turned up the wick just a little bit, as he's extending the gap. But Jarno Opmeer to Bono Hoos and Cedric Tome all separated by about 1 second. So like we've seen multiple times today, a team getting out in front 1, 2, 3 and then composing and keeping that gap similar. We spoke about it earlier that the guy in third position is maybe a little bit disappointing and maybe the lower rank of the team, but I think they've got the biggest job to do because they've got to defend against the other drivers.
Absolutely, and look at Joni Tormela, just 0.3 of a second behind Cedric Tome, so it's all to play for, really. He's got to defend for his absolute life if they want to come away with that 1, 2, 3, which every team wants to get. It's the maximum amount of points. You get a 1, 2, 3. It is 20 points to take home for the team. As we're just looking at the rear wing of Cedric Tome, you can just see Joni Tormela inching ever closer and putting him under pressure. So that's probably the position that's most difficult. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, a lot of defending needing to be done, and he's trying to hold off. And there's also a lot of pressure because you can see in your mirrors they will be filled at the moment with that Red Bull livery. Joni Tormela again getting that gap down in the latter stage of the lap, but it looks like Cedric Tome maybe a bit better in the harder braking zones and the tighter, twistier section of Club and Vale. But Cedric Tome doing a fantastic job at the moment, keeping Joni Tormela at bay, and the gap again extending now to half a second. So great stuff at the moment between these drivers so far. Nip and tuck, nothing to separate them at the moment, but it is looking like Mercedes are on top for the time being. 1, 2, 3 for the team, but Joni Tormela gained quite a bit there running into turn 3. Now, if he can get the loop spot on, he has a fantastic chance of mounting an overtake on Cedric Tome as they head down the Wellington straight in towards Brooklands. Is it going to be enough? Can he use that push-to-pass button? Not quite enough there. And it is currently Cedric Tome still leading the way ahead of Joni Tormela.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned push-to-pass because the drivers, I believe, get an extra 25 seconds of push-to-pass, and that means they get 80 more brake horsepower to use, and they can then close up the gap. So that might be what we're seeing with Joni Tormela because he keeps closing the gap and it keeps extending. So we might be seeing a bit of strategy come in with Cedric Tome using his push to pass to try and escape Joni Tormela's advances.
Yeah, great stuff there. Great analysis and in-depth insight into the push-to-pass button from Steph, as we were still watching on board with Joni Tormela hunting down Cedric Tome here at Silverstone, going in towards Stowe Corner now, attacking the curb on the inside and allowing the car to drift up over to the AstroTurf on the left, braking hard in towards Club and Vale now, and then just trying to get the car not accelerate too early, as you could end up like Liam Parnell did earlier and into the barrier if you make that mistake. Joni Tormela he's doing a great job of keeping up with Cedric Tome, but there's just not enough, maybe because of the tactics there with the push-to-pass button, that Joni Tormela is doing a fantastic job using it to get close to Cedric Tome. But at the end of the straights, that's where Tome could be using his one just to make sure he maintains that gap and doesn't give any opportunity for Tormela to get past him. As for Opmeer and Hoos, they're just, they're comfortable, they're chill, they're calm. They've got a driver who is their safety buffer, let's call him, who's just, he's just backing up the Red Bull drivers and making sure they don't have a chance to attack the front runners.
Absolutely. It's a very smart role to be playing, but look at Bono Hoos and how he is maintaining that gap with Jarno Opmeer. He's staying quite close to him, and yet again, we've got Jarno just completely controlling the race from out front. As we've talked about, there are many very dominant drivers in the V10 League this season, and Jarno Opmeer is absolutely one of those drivers, and he's just controlling the race at ease. I mean, I'm sure we'll see a picture of him on the screen, a video of him via his webcam, and how calm and cool and collected they always look. So, yes, very well controlled by Jarno Opmeer.
Yeah, doing a fantastic job at the moment. So is Bono Hoos and so is Cedric Tome. The Mercedes drivers leading the way as we head on to the final lap now of this first head-to-head team race in Silverstone between the Red Bull team and the Mercedes team. As we say, Jarno Opmeer leading the way currently, 1 second gap to his teammate Bono Hoos. And then we've got Cedric Tomé about 1 second behind. And there we go, we spoke about it earlier. Jarno Opmeer in your bottom left corner of your screen. It's interesting to see the difference between drivers when they're driving. Some of them seem a bit more calm and collected, but Jarno Opmeer, look at that. Look at the aggression on his face, really fighting his will, biting his lips, sticking his tongue out. You can tell all the concentration there going through the driver's face and how much this means to him, how much he is putting in to fighting that car around this circuit right on the limit. And it's working fantastically for him. He's currently leading the way. Very nice as we're watching a beautiful onboard of the driver's eye. This is how it will look for the drivers as they navigate the circuit through Maggots and Beckett's at the moment. Jarno Opmeer leading the way over his teammates with the Red Bull boys. 4th and 5th at the moment. Liam Parnell looked like maybe he could mount a charge to attack Cedric Tomé and the rest of the Mercedes team. It fell away on the opening lap. Jarno Opmeer coming through the final couple of corners now. It is going to be a Mercedes 1, 2 and 3. Mercedes take home the glory in the team race. Joni Tormela finishes at the front for the Red Bull drivers, but unfortunately just not enough to take that point.
We knew it would be an epic battle. Red Bull taking on Mercedes at Silverstone to start. Well, we knew it would be an incredible battle between Red Bull and Mercedes didn't put a foot wrong there. Red Bull battled, but they were just so dominant, the Silver Arrows that we see before us right now. And as Hayden put it very nicely and accurately, Parnell and Tomé, there was that little battle, but Tomé was definitely the buffer between the first and second place, and that's all that mattered. Got off to a good start, Hayden, but we were looking for a couple of overtakes, and Joni Tormela tried his best, but they're just so good, the Mercedes. Yeah, they seemed absolutely solid, and Cedric Tomé just held the fort. He backed off he had a great battle here, to be fair, with Liam Parnell side by side through the loop, and it looked like almost that Liam Parnell was going to get the job done, but then Tomé comes back at him, he gets the traction around the outside, holds it down in towards Brooklands, and they still go wheel to wheel all the way through this section, which was great, intense racing between the two drivers, really good respectful driving as well, no real contact, not enough to send drivers into a spin that we've seen so many times today, and then in the end, Cedric Tomé getting the job done, and Liam Parnell, unfortunately, not able to fight him. Yeah, maybe a little bit of push to pass was used. Oh, we're seeing that collision there from Parnell, and that's the thing, he sent it, he went for it, he put it all on the line, and then just unfortunately didn't work out for Parnell, and neither did Karsdorp or Tormela be able to mount a serious battle to get up into the first, second or third. But earlier on, we did see Karsdorp battle in that relay race, but I mean, Red Bull have to make sure they're not too deflated from that as we watch the highlight now of Karsdorp against Bono Hoos, because he did battle, and they're showing us how much pace they do have, how much craft is at their disposal, but you've just got, it sounds like you have to have an out-of-body experience to try and beat this Mercedes.
Yeah, very much so. Mercedes look like the team to beat at the moment. They're definitely one up the top. It's going to be interesting when we start to see the team red lines versus Mercedes, the Yas Heat versus Mercedes. But for now, Mercedes looking really, really strong. Like you say, Red Bull shouldn't be deflated. Karsdorp nearly took the fight to them on the final lap of this relay. Liam took the fight to Cedric Tomé in the team race. So Red Bull potentially can fight them.
Yeah, we're heading to Spa next, but so far, Mercedes looking very dominant with that 2-0 victory. And Spa, we don't know if that's Mercedes' favoured track. It is obviously Red Bull's, but that could be the weakness.
Absolutely. Well, this is Mercedes' elected track, isn't it? So they clearly think that they can do something around Spa after this dominant display that we've seen around Silverstone. I have no doubt that we're going to see a very, very similar thing. But I would be very intrigued to see the Red Bull take them on. Obviously, in earlier matches today, we've seen some great racing around Spa, actually. An amazing sequence of corners, Eau Rouge, Radion and the Kemmel Straight. You can get an amazing slipstream going down there, and it will be incredible to see some proper fighting moves from Red Bull on the opening few laps.
Well, it might happen, Steph. Hayden, we all love Spa, so why don't you get ready for Spa, because after the break, we are heading to Spa for Red Bull versus Mercedes. You are watching the V10 R League, and it is a pleasure to have you with us because we have Red Bull taking on Mercedes. Red Bull coming off a loss from week 1 against Team Redline. Mercedes coming off a 4-0 clean sweep against Team Fordzilla. Well, guess what, guys? From the relay race, it looks like Mercedes are looking to make it another clean sweep. They have got the relay race win, and then they moved to the team race and were dominant. A 1-2-3 finish for them, and Cedric Tomé has been officially ignited with being the buffer. That could be a nickname that he likes, or maybe he doesn't. Otmir finishing first, Hoos in second, Tomé in third. Joni Tommela, Karsdorp, Parnell for Red Bull have it all to do as we head to Spa. At Silverstone, done, dusted. Put it away until next week. It will not be seen for any other time this week today. Listen, I am joined by Steph Wentworth. I'm also joined by Hayden Goddard. It's been a long day of races, but this comes down to the last 2 races, and there is a chance. We've not seen a draw yet. Could it happen right now? Could it happen, Hayden?
Potentially, because Red Bull have looked like they can take the fight to Mercedes. I know Mercedes were dominant in Silverstone in both the relay and also in the team race, but Red Bull had little moments where potentially they can get back in there, in both the team relay and also in the team race. So we'll just have to wait and see. Moments
are one thing, but making it count, making it stick is another thing. As we see the matchups that are appearing now, Parnell will be taking on Otmir again. That's a repeat of Silverstone for that relay race. Tommela versus Tomé, a repeat again. So they're keeping the same lineup, but it's now down to the fact that each driver has to race 1 lap, but one of them has to do a joker lap, which means they have to do 2. Do you think they'll mix it up a little bit, Steph?
I hope they mix it up a little bit. I mean, what we've seen is Bono Hoos is going last, and he's the guy that's been doing the jokers and has been the dominant Mercedes force. So I do think that they'll keep it in his hands because it's been very successful. I'm going to hand over to Hayden because we're going straight in for the relay race.
The lights are on, the engine's roaring, and we're gonna go racing here in Spa-Francorchamps. It's Jarno Otmir versus Liam Parnell, and Liam holds it down towards turn 1, but late on the brakes goes Jarno Otmir, goes for the switchback into La Source, gets on the power, maybe a little bit too early as he loses the back end. But now running down in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Great tactic there from Jarno Otmir, ducking out of the slipstream to not catch up too early as you run up the hill into Radion. Now he can really attack as there's contact between the 2 of them. Parnell's gone for a spin and he is barrel rolling all over the place. That car is not stopping. Sent to the stratosphere there as Jarno Otmir and Liam Parnell come together. Not really too sure what to make of that. Looked like Jarno Otmir just caught up a little bit too quickly to Liam Parnell, or maybe it was just slightly on the brakes from Liam Parnell to maybe scare Otmir, but unfortunately, Otmir and Mercedes look like they have this one in the bag.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very unfortunate because I do think Jarno just caught up a little too quickly and couldn't get out of the slipstream in time. It does look like on the screen Liam Parnell is okay. Unfortunately, his car in the game is not.
Yeah, let's have a look at a replay here. So slight amount of contact between the 2 of them, catching up maybe a little bit too quickly. And then in the background, that Red Bull car bouncing up and down, going the weirdest way I've ever seen a car go down the Kemmel Straight. But we'll wait and see whether he got to the end of it or not. As Jarno Otmir, now we're just going to be watching some incredible hot laps from some of the best esports drivers in the world. Jarno Otmir heading the pits. No joker is Jarno Otmir. He's going to be handing over to Cedric Tomé. I mean, sometimes we like to say the race isn't done at this point because, you know, mistakes can happen in the pit stop stage and maybe a mistake out on track. But I think this time around...
It seems like it's done, doesn't it? Heading into the pit lane for about a 40-second wait. Liam Parnell, well, he's back on the screen. It doesn't look like he's given up just yet. 1 minute 47 seconds behind, so maybe he's managed to get going again and there's some small chance that they're back in the fight.
The car has finally come back down to earth. It's returned, and maybe like we've spoke about before, this is a great chance for the team to just get those practice laps in, switch over the drivers still, and just keep yourself fresh, ready for the team race that is later on. As we can see, yes, Parnell is back out on track and he's driving once again. He's just going to be getting a feel in for the track to make sure, like I say, he's ready for that team race later, surely.
I mean, we've had unpredictabilities as well in the pit stop, so there is every chance on the planet that something could go wrong for Mercedes, that Cedric Tomé is not going to get out on time, and Liam Parnell may end up catching up. I mean, I don't know if that's wishful thinking, but this race has been pretty crazy so far.
I mean, you said we've had unpredictability. I don't think anyone predicted at the start of this show that we would see a car end up in that state, but look at it, it's come back down, it's working fine. Cedric Tomé, though, does get out of the pit lane. He is currently running at the moment, and like we say for these Mercedes drivers, they can't just give up. They can't just be like, okay, that's job done. They still need to make sure they get that car home and bring home the bacon for the team.
Bring home the bacon, but what if they're vegetarian?
Well, vegan bacon does exist, so maybe they can go for that one.
Potentially. Well, that's Liam Parnell heading into the pits now. The first lap done for Red Bull Racing, and they'll be switching over. I'm sure that car probably has a ton of damage on it, so probably great that he made it to the pits, as we are with Cedric Tomé now, who is on lap 2 for the Mercedes AMG-Petronas Esports team.
It'd be interesting to see how the tactics change as well with the Joker lap, because usually we've seen Bono Hoos go for that Joker lap, but maybe if one of the other drivers is feeling like they haven't had enough practice on one of these on this track today, they might go for that Joker lap just to get that extra bit of practice in to get themselves ready, because there is no pressure now on either the Mercedes or the Red Bull teams, because this relay race is pretty much over. But Joni Tomlin now into the car. He's going to be replacing Liam Parnell. So hopefully Joni Tomlin can keep it grounded for this lap.
I mean, that's the plan, isn't it? You know, racing cars are supposed to have downforce. It's this ground effect. They're supposed to stay sucked down onto the track, not up in the sky. So I think that's what we've seen from all drivers except Liam Parnell thus far, and let's hope that Joni Tomlin can keep all 4 tyres on the track.
Hey, it's always good to be known for something. I don't know whether he's going to be happy to be known as the one who... The flying Parnell. He's stealing the flying nickname from Joni Tomala. But Joni Tomala out on track now. He's going to be doing his hot lap and seeing whether he can maybe try and close in some time. It is a big gap. It's 1 minute 47 seconds. But if he can close down that gap and Red Bull can maybe, get a little bit closer to Mercedes, that's going to give them a bit more confidence, because at the end of the day, it's not a massive mistake that's happened. It's a little bit of contact between the two drivers. It's not really something that you can put down to one individual thing. And if they do have the pace to take it to Mercedes in the team race, then that can give them some confidence going in. So we'll just have to wait and see. But Joni Tomala in the car at the moment, heading down in towards Pouhon, really committed on the right-hand side of the curb. And look at that, just flying through there. No mistakes at all. And into this next chicane, Joni Tomala really on it at the moment. The gap now coming down to 1 minute 47. So maybe they're gaining on the Mercedes team. We'll have to wait and see for the team race to see who comes out on top with those guys. But Bono Hoos is now in the car, and hopefully we'll see him out on track soon.
Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to this team race, because I do think that Spa is a very interesting track. There's lots of opportunities for all these Red Bull drivers to go for it. As we see, Joni Tomala's laps have been very clean, very tidy, so he's just getting prepared for this this team race, which is going to be happening a little bit later. But fantastic lap from them. We're with Bono Hoos now. Is that right?
Hoos. We're just making up as we go along.
We are.
He can correct us at a later point. Maybe we'll interview him later and he can tell us the real way. But we've got Bono at the moment, leading the way for the Mercedes team. Remember, he is going to have to do the Joker lap, because neither did Jarno Opmeer or Cedric Tomé do that Joker lap. So Bono Hoos is going to be doing that for us. Joni Tomala will be handing over the keys to his Red Bull car to Yuri Kazdor in a moment. And we'll be seeing what sort of pace Yuri has for the Red Bull team around here as well. But the gap now down to 37 seconds. Obviously, we've had a pit stop because of that. That gap will extend when Bono does his Joker lap and when Joni Tomala comes into it. It's looking like Tomala is maybe doing that Joker lap, so he's gone out for a second lap as well. But Bono now going into the bus stop chicane, heading into this big braking zone. Look at the concentration on his face in the bottom left-hand corner of your screens. Now through the bus stop chicane, the right, then the left, but back on the power. Not too early as you head down this start-finish straight. Hard on the brakes once again as you head into the source, the opening lap hairpin, and then you want to get your foot onto the floor as soon as you possibly can because it's completely flat out all the way to Le Combe. You're going through Eau Rouge now, up the hill through Radillon, and then onto the Kemmel Straight. Flat out all the way through here. Great opportunity maybe in the race to see some more side-by-side action between the Mercedes and the Red Bull teams. In towards Le Combe now, the right, then the left, then the right again. Easy to make a mistake. We've seen teams come together through there before, then heading downhill again in towards Rivage, staying nice and tidy on the inside apex, allow the car to float out to the outside on the exit, and then through the corner with no name, which you love having it with no name, don't you, Steph?
I do. I mean, what would you name it if you had the opportunity?
Greg. We're going with Greg.
Greg?
Yeah, it's
Wow.
very Belgian name, it's Greg. As we're going down, out of Pouhon into this right-left chicane. Bono just, you know, he's not pushing the car too hard. As you can see, he's not really attacking those curves as much as maybe he would normally if he was actually really going side by side with the Red Bull team. But Bono now through Stavelot, Blanchimont left to go, and then it's the bus stop chicane. And it's, I mean, it was pretty obvious from the first lap with the incident between Jarno Opmeer and Liam Parnell dictating this race today. Liam sent up into the moon, but he did come back down again. And Red Bull, unfortunately, are going to be losing this team relay. But it is Mercedes who make it 3-0 with Bonnehuis crossing the line.
Wow, as expertly and poetically put, Parnell into the sky. Hayden and Steph making sure the commentary was apt and beautiful at times there in a race that was pretty, well, I can't beat about the bush. It was one-sided. Mercedes, after that incident, and I can tell you stewards are investigating what happened in that race. We'll bring you the latest on that as we hear about it. But as far as it stands, Mercedes crossing the line first, meaning they pick up another match point. And let's relive that moment, because I tell you what, Liam Parnell got the upper hand on Jarno Opmeer, and Jarno tried to go for that overtake, and there was contact.
Yeah, definitely. I love the tactics here. You can see Jarno pulling out the slipstream to make sure he doesn't catch up too early up the hill, and it just looks like maybe a bit of lag because they're closing in on each other, but then all of a sudden, the Red Bull jumps back towards the Mercedes and then the contact happens. So I'm not too sure whether it's a connection issue or something like that, or maybe Liam just, you know, trying to tap the brakes, scare Jarno up me a little bit, or all of a sudden he used his push to pass to get closer. Well, the stewards are going to be the ones who are going to be deciding that at the end of the day.
Yeah, and knowing Jarno, I know he's laughing more and smiling more at the imagery of Parnell spinning, not because he's made some sort of contact at all. I know he's a very fair racer, very competitive as well. But as you said, guys, Mercedes just had to make sure they crossed the line first, so they had to be professional, get the job done, and they did just that. No surprises then, really. Mercedes picking up another scalp. It could have been very different had there not been that incident, but Mercedes looking very dominant for that 4-0 sweep.
Absolutely. Again, what else is there to say? They did a fantastic job, everything that they needed to do. Obviously, that contact is being investigated, so it's yet to be determined whether they're going to pick up that point. But for now, we'll say they are, and heading into the team race with a lot of confidence.
It's hard to look at that Mercedes lineup and the way that they line themselves up with Jarno Opmeer going, then Cedric Tomier, then Bonnehuis doing the Joker lap there. There doesn't seem to be a weakness in their strategy. They've got strategy, ability, confidence. They really are looking very likely to be heading to Abu Dhabi to be in with a shout of winning a larger portion of that £100,000 prize pool.
They definitely are. Red Bull look like a team that could potentially be one of the top dogs fighting at the front as well, and they are making mincemeat of them at the moment. 3-0 at the moment, pending the steward's inquiry. So, yeah, it's all going well for Mercedes, but they are yet to come up against Team Redline, which I believe are in their group. So that could be an interesting head-to-head between those two later on in the series.
Do you know what? That's what I like about you, Hayden. I know you're going to be around here next at match-up, but you're just teasing us. Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Right, there you have it then. It's time in the business for me to throw to a break. When we come back, we will have a team race between Red Bull and Mercedes. Can Red Bull get a point? Welcome back to the V10 League. If you love an underdog story, there's one happening right now. Team Red Bull taking on Mercedes, and Mercedes have a 3-0 lead going into our team race at Spa. Do you love an underdog story, Steph?
I do love a good underdog story.
Because it could be happening right now. Hayden, do you like
it?
Love an underdog story.
But the question is, though, is it going to happen? People at home will be backing Red Bull, going, come on, guys, Liam Parnell, unfortunate situation that happened to him. Joni Tormela, Karsdorp is there. They've got the talent. Have they got enough to take over Mercedes? That's the question that everyone will be asking. And who would you be rooting for at this moment?
I don't think they do, unfortunately, but I would love to see it. There is the potential there, maybe, because they, in the first two in Silverstone, they did look competitive. It wasn't like the whitewash that we saw in that team relay just there. And it was an incident between two drivers that really cost them. So potentially, at this track, they could be faster Mercedes. Who knows? We have literally no information going into this race.
OK, let's confirm those results then from the first 3 races that we had. And let's start, though, by confirming the winners from that relay result in Spa. We love a little bit of Spa-Francorchamps. And can I just point out as well, I've been looking on Twitter, the @V10 League, that Hayden was incredibly professional not to laugh, as I did and Steph did as well. And everyone was corpsing here. Mercedes getting those 3 victories then. It goes down to the team race. We've seen it all day. It very much depends on the grid positions from quali. I'm expecting, when they appear on the screen, I'm expecting Mercedes to have a 1-2-3 again. Will that happen? I don't know, but it very much depends on where the grid positions start.
Absolutely. As we've seen throughout all of the matches, grid position is very important, and it's the opening laps where you can really launch an attack if you are the disadvantaged team. So if Red Bull are there in 4th, 5th, 6th, then it's up to them on the opening laps while the timings are really, really close together to really launch the attack and potentially grab some points.
Yeah, but we saw, I think it was Yas Heat that just held back a little bit. And Aston Martin, they didn't go for it. They tried to keep it a clean race. Actually, it was against Williams Esports. They tried to keep it clean. It didn't pay off, but there's different tactics that you can use in this sprint at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And with Spa-Francorchamps, maybe qualifying in pole position isn't necessarily as important as it is at other circuits because you have that long straight all the way down towards Le Combe. So if you're starting first and you've got Red Bull in 2nd and 3rd, they can slipstream you, as we saw with Siggy in the Team Redline match that we had earlier. He got past Biancolilli in the Aston Martin car down at the end of that straight, and it wasn't really worth it to be on pole position. OK,
so Hayden's saying don't be on pole. Let's have a look at the grid results then. Where are we heading? Oh, yes! Oh no, based on what you just said. Joni Tormela, I was surprised to see the Red Bull guy at the top. We know he's the flying thin. We know he's fast. He's got Bono Huss behind him, Cedric Tomé, and then Jarno Opmeer, surprise. But Parnell and Karsdorp have got it all to do. If they need, Parnell needs to get into that 4th position to make sure he gets the match point. If that doesn't happen, then it will be a draw. Hayden, we head now to Spa. Looking forward to this one?
Definitely. Let's have some great racing. The lights are coming on. The engines are going to be roaring, and we are going to be racing for the final time today in Spa-Francorchamps. It is going to be Joni Tormela who leads the way ahead of the Mercedes drivers, and he's going to be leading the way down in towards turn 1. Slight contact down in towards the source there, and it looks like maybe Jarno Opmeer has lost out a position to the 2 Red Bull drivers, and so has Bono Huss as well. So Red Bull really mounting the charge to try and take back the point as there's contact again between Bono Huss and another car flying off into the barrier. We've got Bono Huss, Liam Parnell and Jarno Opmeer all getting caught up with each other. Joni Tormela still leading the way from Cedric Tomé and Yuri Karsdorp, and Red Bull looking like they are doing what they need to do at the moment.
Absolutely. Well, like I just said, it's going to be super important from the opening lap to launch the attacks, and here we're going to be able to see what happened just following Raidillon, and it was just Bono that ended up having a bit of contact with, who was it, Liam Parnell, and they've both now dropped down the order, and the 2 of them in 5th and 6th currently.
Yeah, I don't even think it was contact between the two of them. I think they both just lost it over the curb at the top of Radion as you rise over the hill there. And unfortunately for Jarno Opmeer, he had nowhere to go. He had to dart over to the runoff area on the right-hand side and maybe just didn't quite calculate the width of his car, clipping the rear end on the barrier, and unfortunately sent his car into a spin as well, meaning that they're now 7 seconds down off of Yuri Kastorp. So Red Bull looking really good at the moment, because like we say, if you win this race, you need your teammates to be at least in 4th position, and they are doing just that right now, and then some, because we've got Yuri in P3. But what are the tactics now? Joni Tormela leading the way. He's currently in P1 and looking like he's got the pace over Cedric Tomei. Does Yuri go on the attack, or does he settle for P3 to not throw away that chance of getting the point?
Oh, I think it's always good to go in the attack. You know, you want to pick up as many points as possible, and if he feels that there's a move that's able to be done, you've got to go for it. As Ayrton Senna once said, if you don't go for a gap, you are no longer a racing driver. So always go for the gap, but at the same time, it is about making sure that you can still maximise the points as a team, not throwing away that position, because currently the way it's standing is Red Bull is going to come away with the victory for this race, and that is not something that they're going to want to throw away, especially if Yuri drops down any positions, drops down to behind Bono Hoos, then unfortunately Red Bull is going to draw with Mercedes there.
Yes, indeed. I'm just putting it out there, though, that Ayrton Senna did say that as an excuse for taking out his championship rival in the final round and winning the championship. So
semantics, semantics.
But Yuri Kastorp doing a fantastic job at the moment to get that car into P3. And like I say, maybe he's just backing off of Cedric Tomei to not be too close to cause a collision. Or if Cedric Tomei loses the back end and he's right up behind the Mercedes driver and gets caught up in that, Jarno Opmeer and Bono Hoos could be straight up into 2nd and 3rd. Cedric Tomei could then slot into that P4 position, and Red Bull have lost it all. So for now, they're looking like they're just going to hold positions. Liam Parnell seems very much like he is out of it, currently being 14 seconds off the pace of Bono Hoos at the moment. Jarno Opmeer 7 seconds off the pace of the front runners, but they're keeping close an eye on each other right now, with Joni Tormela leading the way. Cedric Tomei just trying to see whether he can catch up at the moment. But if things were to change at the front and Cedric Tomei was able to overtake Joni Tormela, then I think Mercedes would take the victory, because Liam Parnell is down in that 6th position, meaning that if Mercedes would be 1, 4 and 5.
Absolutely, and that's not what they're going to want. Both teams are gunning for the win at the minute. Unfortunately, it seems like a race of two halves, really. You've got P1, 2, 3, quite close together. Tormela, Tomei, Kastorp. But then you've got Jarno Opmeer, Bono Hoos and Liam Parnell that are much further back, and there you go. The clean sweep that Joni Tormela's got right there, clean air, he's just chilling. Like I said, everybody who's at the front of the grid is just controlling the race, controlling the pace, and I think Joni Tormela's doing a fantastic job. He's still absolutely pushing.
He really is, and he looks so calm in the bottom left-hand corner of your screens at the moment. Just checking all over his monitor, just seeing all the information that he's going to have on that onboard as he's driving around this V10R car, doing a fantastic job at the moment, eking out that gap now to 2 seconds over Cedric Tomei. So looking in prime position to take the victory for the Red Bull team. But they've got to keep it on the track, and not only does he need to keep it on the track, so does his teammate Yuri Kastorp. It all relies on those two drivers. Liam Parnell, whilst he might be out of it, he could be, talking over the comms, bigging up his drivers, getting the confidence up, and or just being silent because they might want to be concentrating. As there we go, Cedric Tomei just goes a little bit too deep there into the bus stop chicane, but fortunately for him, Yuri is not right on his tail, but the gap has now come down to 1.1 seconds. We head down on board now with Cedric Tomei in towards La Source as we're starting lap 4 out of 6, and we're looking at Cedric Tomei in the bottom left-hand corner of your screens, but he's now currently lacking behind 2.6 seconds. The gap to Joni Tormela, and it's looking Red Bull's way at the moment.
Absolutely, and look, Joni Tormela was a tiny little speck down the road for him. That's not really what you want to see. But what I'd really like to highlight is how well Cedric Tomei is actually doing. We talked about him being the buffer and potentially the weaker link of the Mercedes drivers at Silverstone, and he's completely turned us around. He's holding his own, and he's the Mercedes driver in the highest position at the minute. Obviously is losing that time. He's lost quite a lot of time there, over a second to to Joni Tormler and keeps drifting back, but at the same time, there is Kastorp, who is now closed in. So I think that must have been a little mistake on Cedric Tomei's part, which has allowed Yuri Kastorp to close in. And look how close he is. Is he going to launch a move up the inside? Well, he's looking pretty close by.
Yeah, not too sure what went on there with Cedric Tomei. He was looking like he was going around the track perfectly fine, but maybe just at a bit of a slower pace compared to Yuri Kastorp. It looks like maybe he was just backing off. Is there tactics to play? Is he backing? Maybe potentially he's trying to back Yuri Kastorp into Jarno Opmeer and Bono Huis to both get those guys to overtake him so that they finish in 5th and 6th, meaning they will only end up as a draw, taking those points away from the Red Bull team, which is what we love to see. Tactics coming into it, mind games.
Absolutely, but another tactic that they could potentially have been using is Kastorp could have just used all of his push to pass. As we see, Yuri Kastorp is going for a move into La Source, and he gets it done. He's made it stick.
He does get it done. He does make it stick, but this is a great opportunity to overtake Cedric Tomei. We'll be following him all the way through Eau Rouge and up through Radion as well, onto the Kemmel Straight, and we'll be following in that slipstream, using that push to pass, and there he goes, overtaking him again. He wants to get right in front of him, and then as they go through Lecombe, slow him down so that Jarno Opmeer can catch up, and you can see it there. He's going so slowly through that Lecombe section in towards Rivage, and I don't know what Yuri Kastorp can do here. He wants to make sure he secures that P3 position, doesn't want any contact with Cedric Tomei to cost him that, but is it going to be enough? There's only 2 laps left to go of this race. Jarno Opmeer is 6.7 seconds behind this battle at the moment. Then you've got Bono Huis is also 2.5 seconds behind them. They need to get Yuri Kastorp into P5 in order to make it a draw. And look at how much he is slowing him down, showing him a slight little gap there, and then closing it off.
And as you can see, just in that little half a bit of a lap, the time to Jarno Opmeer has come down dramatically, over 1.5 seconds, and it keeps falling. You know, we were just at 5.5 seconds, now at 5 seconds. Jarno Opmeer is catching, so there's very much a team game being played here, and Cedric Tomei knows exactly what he's doing.
I'll tell you what, one track where this tactic would have worked fantastically is Mugello. Maybe we should have gone there after all today, but Cedric Tomei doing a really good job to back up Yuri Kastorp. As I say, Yuri Kastorp not really too sure what to do at this point. Does he send for it? Does he risk that P3 position? But he also doesn't want to get caught up by Jarno Opmeer and Bono Huis. They're going down now in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. He saw last time what happened when he overtook into La Source. It was an easy overtake for Cedric Tomei. And now Cedric Tomei again holding him up through Eau Rouge and Radion. But now here goes Yuri Kastorp, so close to the back, has to back off the throttle once again. We'll try and have a look around the outside into the Lecombe section, but cannot get the job done. And again, now Cedric Tomei is just going to back off, ease on the throttle, and try and back him up into Jarno Opmeer. Jarno Opmeer now really closing in on this battle. 3.5 seconds is the gap between the two of them. So close between this Mercedes and Red Bull pairing. They come together once more. And this is a fantastic race in between the two. Great tactics as well, we love to see from Cedric Tomei. And you can just see those Mercedes drivers coming into the frame in the background of your screens. But Cedric Tomei is going to have to do more than what he's doing at the moment to try and get that P5 for Yuri Kastorp. As now Jarno Opmeer right on the back. He's done a fantastic job because Jarno Opmeer is coming through the final couple of corners now on towards Bonchemont, really holding up Yuri Kastorp. I love the tactics that we are seeing on display. Will Jarno Opmeer be able to overtake the Red Bull driver? They're going in towards Bonchemont now. Cedric Tomei on the inside, Yuri on the outside. Jarno Opmeer hunting him down, and it looks like the overtake is going to happen. But now they need to make sure that Bono Huis also overtakes them. They're going to be really backing up Kastorp now in towards the last corner. Is it going to be enough? Joni Tormler takes the victory. It is Jarno Opmeer second, Cedric Tomei third. Yuri Kastorp does get that P4 in the end, and Bono Huis has to settle for P5. Great tactics on show today, but it is going to be Red Bull Racing who take that point.
Oh my words, we saved the best till last. That man is looking very happy. That is Joni Tomala, the Flying Finn. That is him at his happiest. I've known him for years. He is buzzing right now, but Red Bull, that came right down to the wire. Some tactical mischief from those guys right there. Bono Huis doing the best he could to hold up Kazdorp and allow Jarno Opmeer to overtake, but Kazdorp coming back into it and getting that 4th place position, which was all important if your teammate, who was in first, wins, because that meant that it was not a draw and it was a point to Red Bull. How important is that going to be come the end of the season? You can hear in my voice how excited I am, but what a start it was and what an overtake from Joni Tomala, Hayden.
Yeah, great start there for the Red Bull team and especially Joni Tomala to get into the lead, but this pretty much made the race. That little contact there between, or the mistakes from Bono Huis and Liam Parnell, and then getting caught up with Jarno Opmeer as well. But then that created the fantastic tactics on show in the final couple of laps.
Oh, it had a bit of everything, Steph, and just brilliant driving. And I feel sad and annoyed for Liam Parnell. Again, caught up in something and goes spinning out. This time, at least he didn't go orbital.
Thankfully. But yeah, unfortunately for him, he was kind of out of all of the battles. But I almost feel a little bit bad for Mercedes not taking this point, because that tactical masterpiece should have won them the point. It was absolutely fantastic by Cedric Tomé to back him up. I almost wish he'd done it a little bit like a lap earlier, because we would have seen some amazing racing, some amazing fights like we got on that final lap. It was absolutely incredible with the 3 Mercedes drivers and Yuri.
Yeah, but I mean, we did say, you know, it's the underdog story. We look at Mercedes, how strong they are, and Joni Tomala just giving us racing fans just a bit of, yeah, every dog has his day, and that was a beautiful, I'm not calling Red Bull a dog. What I'm trying to say is that in those moments where you feel like your back's against the wall and you're not going to get a chance to win a point, they did just that. And Joni Tomala must be buzzing after beating the other Mercedes drivers.
I mean, for sure. Mercedes looked so good last week, getting the 4-0, so to take that away from them this time, they're in the same group as well, so it's taking a point off of one of your rivals, and of course it's great to gain one as well.
Yeah, well, a man that will be very happy right now, maybe a little bit disappointed didn't get the 4-0 clean sweep like they did in round 1. We are joined now by Jarno Opmeer from Mercedes AMG-Petronas Esports. First of all, Jarno, congratulations on the 3 points there, but can I just get your take on seeing Liam Parnell go orbital in your rear view? What was that like?
Yeah, it was funny. It was very weird. Yeah, it was just unfortunate. There was a little bit of a lag bubble where he moves forward and then back quick. So I had no time to react anywhere. He was in my car instantly. I got quite a bit from it as well, but I didn't go orbit up into the sky.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very unfortunate. But yeah, it is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. I'm not sure if you can see it really well on the TV broadcast, but he suddenly stops going forward. And then, yeah, that was a hit.
Yeah, I mean, we're watching a replay right now, Jarno, and it's cause for maybe we should vote on whether, we're seeing your reaction, whether these V10 cars should come with a parachute just in case for next time. But Hayden picked up on it, a slight lag there. That happens in the game. But let's focus on how dominant you've been as a team. The plan went perfectly in Silverstone. You've got to be happy with your performance there.
Yeah, Silverstone went really well. Spa is a bit chaotic anyway with the starts and Upper Rouge. Slipstream is very strong. Liam lost it in the team race Upper Rouge. Both me and Bono caught him anymore, so we went into the wall. And that meant we had damage, but then Cedric put up an absolute masterpiece with the defense. And we almost got it right in the end, but yeah, we couldn't. That somebody realized he was not going to catch up to Joni anymore. Who was very fast. So, yeah, we had to do something out of our sleeve to make it a draw. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to, so we lost out. It is what it is.
Well, you made it incredibly entertaining, and we're grateful for that. Sim racing fans all around watching that would have loved it. Jarno, congratulations on your result. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
There you go, Jarno Opmeer. Always a delight to chat to him. He's always got that smile on his face. Let's confirm those results then. Hayden and Steph, Joni Tormula finishing in first place, and Tomei, and that battle with Opmeer and Hughes and Karsdorp was just breathtaking. 14 points versus 12 points means Red Bull get that point, which to confirm is a 3-1, and it is going to be invaluable, that point, going forward in the competition, Hayden.
Yeah, definitely, because it all mounts up to who goes to Abu Dhabi in the end. You've got that third place slot, I believe, that Red Bull are currently in at the moment. So things are looking good at the moment for them, but taking that point off one of their rivals, Mercedes, is going to be great. And now they get to go to some of the teams that are in the lower bottom half of the table, so maybe they can pick up a few more points over the coming weeks.
I'm seeing it there. Team Fordzilla, they've raced once. They are at the bottom of the table. They are going to be our first race for next Friday, 1 p.m. They're taking on Team Redline. You do not want to miss that. Can they get some points on the board? But so far, that is very good news for Red Bull. Steph, it looks tight as a division. Team Redline looks strong. So do Red Bull. It's going to go down to the wire, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all to play for. It's a fantastic season that we've got ahead. We've seen some fantastic racing today, which has been great for us to commentate on, great for us to talk about, and I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, listen, I'm hopeful that both of you get to go to Abu Dhabi. It's been a pleasure working with you, Steph, to Hayden, guys, and Steph Wentworth. Listen, that's it. A big thank you to the guys, but mostly to you, of course, for coming to watch. Don't forget to check out all the highlights on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram at V10R League. We will see you back here very soon for more V10R League. Don't forget, first race, 1 p.m. is going to be Team Redline versus Team Fordzilla. You don't want to miss it.